get louder and louder. Yeah, we be battling back and forth, you know.
Like that, open the door.
Yeah, right. They're supposed to keep the door closed.
Somebody told me, he just went live, open the door.
Yeah, because my man did have a little issue with me, you know. Oh yeah. Everybody issue, yeah.
They got issues with me running for this thing because I'm running against the system, but hey man, I don't know what to tell you.
Right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ear to the Ground 197. I'm your host. My name is Bryan Foley. Doobie Williams, Scoop Doob, my homeboy, Kevin Williams, man, thank you for tuning in. Moms, I see you early this morning. Reminding everybody to type in Y1, hit like, and then share. Y1, like, and then share. Reason why, you know why I asked everybody to do that, bro, Dave? Because the algorithm, that camera I was sharing you right there, it won't allow me to tag anybody into it. So that everybody can best get this program to stimulate the algorithm, that we like to hit like, share, and then Y1 because I believe in Ypsilanti first. But I got my good friend up in here, David Malcolm, and we go back a long ways and stuff like that. We're going to get in that. And he's running for Washtenaw Community College trustee, and we're going to talk about that. That's our primary focus. We talk about that, but we're going to talk about some other things. But before I get into that, Dave, let me clear the streets, you know. Everybody knows that Tuesday is election day. Now, this is my slate. And if you're a follower of Ear to the Ground 197, there's one thing that you know. Ear to the Ground 197 is sponsored to you by League of Women Voters, my good friend Jeff and Trudy Hughes. It's also brought to you by Ypsilanti Kind of Share. That was started out by Gail Summerhill and myself. Both of these organizations are nonpartisan organizations, so they don't favor Republican, Democratic, or a particular candidate. What they simply do is share information on the candidates and share information on the different proposals and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, even though they're a sponsorship of the show, I utilize their resources in their database to make my choices when it comes to selecting candidates and who I support and where I stand on proposals. So this is where I stand when it comes to Ear to the Ground 197. 197 obviously is City of Ypsilanti and some other parts of the township, but 197 is in particular south side of Ypsilanti. So this is who I support. And I encourage you to support too, if you are a follower of Ear to the Ground 197, because we did our research. I did my research. We asked that for judge, you support Ariane Slay. For another judge, Carl Barr. This where it gets a little bit tricky. The reason why I say it's tricky because you're gonna have to do some work. For first ward representative, south side of Ypsilanti, Ward 1 Ypsilanti proper, Ward 1, the largest ward in Ypsilanti, we ask that you write in Bryan Jones Chance. Write in Bryan. You're gonna have to write that in. Bryan Jones Chance is going into his second, what do you want, Siri? He's going into his second term of office, and we need Bryan in city council right now, not just for first ward representative, but we need him for his real estate and his expertise in handling and dealing with finances. So write in Bryan Jones Chance. Also, Jimmy Wilson Jr. for state representative. Crystal Light out in the, I believe it's the first district out in Ann Arbor. Annie Somerville, 6th district, county commissioner. Justin Hodge, 5th District County Commissioner. Caroline Sanders, I believe that's 4th District in Washtenaw County District for County Commissioner. And then finally, Nicole Brown for Mayor. Nicole Brown for Mayor. Nicole Brown is your only choice for mayor. Your only choice. Trust me when I say that, because I've done my homework. City of Ypsilanti has kind of been not organized, not the last term, so don't think I'm picking on the past mayor, because I'm not. But the city of Ypsilanti has been disarray for a long time. And what Nicole Brown does is she brings stability to that seat, to the office. She's been around a long time, and she has relationships, not only with the council members there, but she has relationship with the city manager. See, the city of Ypsilanti has what's called strong city manager weak council. So really, who makes all the decisions, the real decisions when it comes to infrastructure, monies and stuff like that, is the administration headed by Francis McMullen. So what you have is, for one of the first times, a great relationship from our future mayor, Nicole Brown, and Francis McMullen. But then dig this here. Because Annie Somerville was a 3rd Ward council person, she is now going on to be a county commissioner. So now for the first time, what you have is a relationship from 1st Ward with Bryan Jones Chance to the mayor, Nicole Brown, to Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners, Annie Somerville, and then all the way up to the state representative with Jimmy Wilson Jr. So now, for one of the first times in the city of Ypsilanti and south side of Ypsilanti, what we have is true representation for the people. And now that what you have on the Board of Commissioners, you have Justin Hodge, Crystal Light, Caroline Sanders, and again, Annie Somerville. So that's what we have, a team right there that looks out for the best of our community. And not only that, what I do know about each one of these individuals, they are not about individuals, they about it for the community. So I'm gonna ride over this list one more time, that I'm getting in my conversation with my good friend, David Malcolm. Ariane Slade for judge, Carl Barr for judge, write-in Bryan Jones Chance. That's for those for you that's on the 4th Ward of Ypsilanti. Trust me on these right here. We've done our homework. Bryan Jones Chance. Jimmy Wilson Jr. for state representative. Crystal Light, county commissioner. Annie Somerville, county commissioner. Justin Hodge, county commissioner. And Caroline Sanders, county commissioner. And finally, Nicole Brown for the mayor of city of Ypsilanti. She is your only choice. I'm just going to tell you, she's your only choice. I know it's other people running, other purpose running, but I've been around here a long time. And what we don't need is any ideologues and people coming up with weird and crazy ideals on how to govern from that seat. But we need stability. We need strength. We need common sense right now, because these are perilous times. You can see what's going on not only in the nation and in the state, but some of those things are happening right here in the city of Ypsilanti. But this particular time, we have an opportunity to bring unity to the community, and for one of the first times to better the community that we live in. So that being said, let me move on. I'll see you, meet you. What's going on, Michelle? Let me bring in my good friend, Mr. David Malcolm. Dave, I've been talking a long time, man. Help me out, man. What's happening, Dave? What bring you to the studio this morning, man?
We've been talking. You invited me to the platform a while ago, and I'm here today.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here, good brother. I'm glad to hear you. But let me set the table up first, man. See, most of the people that you see on Ear to the Ground 157, you find that we're not unfamiliar with each other.
Right.
So David's dad, good friend of mine, rest his soul, David Malcolm, Big David, was married to Tony.
Yeah.
Tony was Lil Gilbert Perry's auntie. Yeah. Lil Gil married to my sister, Kathy, who has a niece, right?
Yeah.
So this is how we connect the dots when we talk about we family. That's family right over there, man. Yeah. So we got our connection up in here, and it's about relationships, man. Yeah. You know, it's funny, man, how the relationships interplay in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, and stuff like that. When you sit back and talk about, man, we really is, when we just talk about that, we one big family, you know.
We're all connected one way or another.
Yeah. I have known David since grade school. I'm happy to see him striving to help the community. That's from Joy Taylor.
Yeah,
okay.
We go back to elementary school.
Yeah. And Chico, I see you out there too, homeboy. Thank you for coming on show last week. And we and Dave was talking. We're gonna have you back again. We're gonna have Dave at the table. We're gonna try to get Disco at the table. And gonna have Ryan Griffin. We're gonna talk about some big boy conversation.
Me and Griff go back to kindergarten, man.
You oh yeah?
Kindergarten.
That's a good dude, man. Yeah. So y'all out there in YouTube land, if you hear some noise, that's just them having church and stuff like that. If y'all hear a little banging and stuff like that, don't worry about they having church. They doing what they doing. We doing what we doing, you know. Dave, so you running for trustee Washington Community College, man.
I am, sir.
What's happening, man? Let me start here, Dave. What's a trustee, man, at the community college level? Break that down first.
Well, a trustee at WCC and any other community college is responsible for setting forth policy, policy and procedures for the institution itself.
Mm-hmm.
Washington Community College Board of Trustees do just that. They come forth with the policies and procedures that run the college for the students, for the taxpayers, and for all those stakeholders at play at the college.
Yeah. Debbie McDermott, you might know as Debbie Edwards, she said she used to work with Dave. She said, thank you out there. Okay. So the trustee, Dave, now, not only do we know each other, man, we used to work together when back in the trades. What was we doing?
I was a laborer, you was an electrician.
Yeah. So we got, and what have you. That's a good question, Keith. I ain't gonna hit him with that right now. We're gonna get into it right now, Dave. Because I based upon that on relationships, I know that you are qualified to be a trustee for Washington Community College. I know that because we interact with each other. We see each other in the streets. We see each other in various community forums. So I know you're more than qualified for that, man, to handle that, right? But let our people know, man, what makes you qualified to be the trustee for the community college? What qualifies you from out your own words, bro?
Well, I'll be straight up with the people. I am not a politician. Mm-hmm. I despise politics, man. It's
Watch
a
out
nasty,
now.
dirty game. It just is,
man.
It's a dirty game, man. And I never really wanted to get into politics. Back in the day when they were trying to close Roberto Clemente Student Development Center down, mm-hmm. Myself and other alumni and other students that had come through that system, we fought hard to keep Roberto Clemente open.
Okay.
And we lost that battle. They closed the school, and unfortunately, Joe Doolin is no longer with us, and Roberto is a foregone institution. But around that time, I started getting asked to run for the Ann Arbor Public School Board. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to do it. I'm like, right. I don't want that. I needed my voice to be able to, I need to be able to say what I need to say. And
I understand.
Sometimes
but don't cut on
the system, right. You can't do that.
Right.
Then I started getting asked to run for city council. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do that in Ann Arbor. I didn't want to do that. I just wasn't into the politics thing. And one thing I always said was, if I was to get into any kind of political situation, it would be for the Board of Trustees of Washington Community College. I put 22 years of service in at WCC.
Okay, so you just ain't showing up.
No, currently I'm legally employed, and on paper I'm employed at WCC.
Okay.
I've been on a medical leave since February of last year.
Okay.
I got to a point in my life where I'm older and things start breaking down.
Tell me about it.
My health was kind of failing me, and I needed to get myself together. Mm-hmm. And I reached out and I asked for help, mm-hmm. and the help didn't come. I started getting all kinds of flack and problems. So my doctor took me off work and said, "We're gonna get you together." Right. So I've lost 80 pounds. I'm feeling better.
Congratulations! Yeah.
I'm letting go of some of the bad things in my life that aren't good for me, and things are looking better. But after a very lengthy conversation with a lot of faculty members, mm-hmm. Support staff, and my family, I started getting phone calls. "Hey man, are you coming back? Are you coming back? If you're not coming back, maybe you should run for the board position." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that, you know. And I'm sitting around and I was thinking, and I start having conversations with people, and I talked to my family, and they say go for it. I love WCC.
Okay.
Like I say, 22 years of my life. I've got degrees from WCC, multiple certificates. I got probably more college credits at WCC than you can ever have. I've always taken advantage of every opportunity that the college has provided me and my family. You know, back in 2012, my mother, she was 55 years old. She decided to go back to school. She was unable to graduate from high school because she had to take care of her mother and then had me. She went back, got her GED, and said she wanted a college degree.
Okay.
So unfortunately, she passed away, you know, and I started an endowment, the Legal Pitch Educational Endowment in her name, and I fully funded that off my own money. One of 2 facilities employees in the history of WCC to ever do that.
Okay.
I funded that endowment, and I funded it for single mothers to help them with their tuition, transportation, and expenses at WCC, like my mother was. She was that woman, you know what I mean? And so I've always been an advocate for education and a dedicated employee and servant of WCC. And I just decided to run, man, because I'm not liking the direction that the college is going in.
Okay.
You know, I want to be a voice of reason for us, the taxpayers that so generously, you know, pass those millages every time, like we do in this community. We're a community of education. So, you know, we pass those millages with no problem. I want to be a voice of reason for the students. We have kids in this community, man, that are, you know, going through things and need that system to better their lives or whatever. I want to be an advocate for them. But I also want to be a voice of reason and have an attentive ear to the faculty and support staff that provides those services and products to our community. For a long time, they haven't been heard.
Right.
Every single meeting that you see online, I listen to Dr. Kissel, who is the president of the Washington Community College Education Association, the union there, basically beg for communication. You know what I mean? We need to communicate. We need to know what's going on. We need to know how we can work together to keep WCC viable and you know, one of the best community colleges in the country. It always has been. I see the gentleman asked about where it was ranked. I don't really know the rank right offhand.
Yeah, that's Keisha. That's a sister. Keisha, that's a sister. Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, sis.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I say
I kind of didn't really look at.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But I don't really know where we're ranked at this time. You know, and there's a lot of things that if I'm elected, I'm going to have to get acclimated to and find out. I'm in a process of studying and doing a lot of things myself right now. But Washington has always been one of the greatest institutions in the state, if not the country. I mean, we got world-class programming, and I want to keep them. You know what I mean? That's why I'm running, so we can keep Washington what it always has been. And if you go back in history, Washington was conceived in 1965. You know, the first 10 years of conception, this country was going through a whole lot. You know, we had riots going on. We had, you know, women's rights were on the forefront. We had racial strife.
Yeah, there was a cultural revolution.
Washington Community College is a revolutionary institution.
Okay,
that's why it was built.
I didn't know that,
to help the community.
Okay.
We find ourselves in the same situation here in 2022.
Same thing. Yes, sir.
Same thing. Same stuff. And I'm just driven to do the right thing, man. You know how I was raised.
I know, yeah.
We come from a family of firsts.
You know, Keisha said earlier, she said, I like your style. And that was the same sister that said that about the ranking. She said she liked your style because of the community advocacy and people when they were going back. Now, Trita out there, Farmville said that, that's my little sis. She said that you come from a family of the Malcolms from the West Side as natural leaders. And I can attest to that. Knowing Ronald, knowing David, knowing Robert, that's my man. I'm gonna get back to that. And just recently meeting Bill really for the first time a little over a month ago. Seen Bill, but never really had a conversation with him. And like what you said, you were surprised that I could get a picture with him. And that's what everybody was saying. Bill don't take no pictures. Yeah, but we was up at school doing some work up at one of the elementary schools. So I got to double down on what Teresa said. Your Uncle Robert. That's my man. That's my main man. What could be considered the darkest time in my life. And I'm not going to take to go into it right now, but what can be considered the darkest time in my life, right? When the police could have shot and killed me. I'm going to put it that way. When they could have shot and killed me, and the narrative that we know that has been going on when Black men are arrested by police officers. At the darkest time in my hour, I heard a voice, and all it was saying was, Bryan, stop moving, they're gonna kill you. That was your Uncle Robert. And I stopped moving at that point right there. But here's what I say about what Trita was talking about, staying that guy. Do you know he's never told anybody that story? Ain't nobody ever once came back and told me, man, Robert said this and we seen you that, this, that, and that. He never repeated it. And when we talked about it some years ago, stuff like that, and Robert told me that's not for me to tell. That's not how I do. And Robert was the only person that was out there. I've heard different narratives, but Robert's the only person who told the story of actually what happened. But it's because of your Uncle Robert being a stand-up guy. I'm here right now when the police have an opportunity they could lit me up. You get what I mean? But it's that natural leadership, what Trita was talking about from the family. And you got it honestly too. You get what I mean? Standing up at the proper time to do something like that. And I've seen you do stuff like that. So you're running for Washington County trustee. In my opinion, you could be running for mayor, you could be running for city council, you could be running for you're running for state representative because you're a natural leader. And that's what we need.
I want it.
I didn't want it. Let me tell you this. I was on the phone with Linda Fred. I was on the phone with some other folks, man, because you know they've been trying to get me. You know they basically called me the mayor, right?
Right.
They was just saying, nah, right? Because I won't do that, man. I won't do that because I understand your voice. You have more. I don't want to say power, but you had ability with more influence and relationships to go in the doors. Because me and you being doors that some folks don't even know exists or how we even get inside those rooms.
You know, I'm glad you say that because I've been seeing things, you know what I mean, and reading things lately. You know, people always want to look at the bad things or what they perceive to be truth and don't really know the truth.
Don't even
know what I mean? You know, I've been around you in times when I've had elder neighbors and cousins that didn't have no power. You know, they don't see the fact that I call Foley up and say, hey man, I got a neighbor over here and something is going on with this power. They ain't got no heat, whatever. Hey, I'm coming. Fix it, charge it to the game. You know what I mean? I remember being in the barbershop one day where there was a guy who was not being a great man and was putting his hands on a woman. And I remember you knew that woman. That was your boy's sister or something like that. And I remember he was on your job. And you took that woman out of that barbershop and you told that dude, hey, don't put your hands on her no more. You saved that woman from a domestic violence situation that she was in. And I've never really repeated that to you until now.
Right, yeah.
But this is downtown Ann Arbor. I remember sitting in the barbershop. I'm like, Bryan, solid dude. You know what I mean? Not that I didn't know that, but you know, that's the kind of stuff that is not seen and talked about. You know what I mean? And I want to give you your flowers for that. I mean, there's been plenty of times when, you know, I called you and I've helped older people out. I see you doing it in the community. You know, that's what we was raised on.
That's what we raised.
That's what I was taught.
Yeah. So thanks, Dave. I forgot all about that.
Right.
But thanks, Dave. But now we're going into the political office. And I can't think, because you were sharing some things with me on the trustee level that I didn't realize so much about. And then you were sharing me on the history of Washington Community College at its time of inception or founded, whatever. And I was 5 years old when that time was. And them times is fresh in my mind. You get what I mean? I tell people all the time, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Black Panther Party, Dr. Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, Huey Newton, H. Rap Browns. Those people weren't in my storybook. I mean, in my textbook. I lived that life.
Right.
Now, it was vicariously through the television set and through the newspapers, but those were real people during my upbringing and my raising up. You get what I mean? I didn't read about them years later. Mm-hmm. I was there when the stuff was happening. You get what I mean? When the news interrupted, said we like to interrupt this broadcast. Dr. Martin Luther King has been assassinated. That's how real that is to me. So knowing the history, Chico he said Big Melt got my vote. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Chico. So those was real cats growing up when I was growing up. So, and then you start telling me about a little bit of history that the college, because I can see some of them old advocates, man, out there in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti founding that. You get what I mean? And then evolving from the community college, you spoke a little bit on Roberto Clemente and Joe Doolin. And
all the same time period.
Yeah, and you and Joe Doolin had a real good relationship. You know what I mean? Y'all had a mentorship, was it?
Well, my mother, Ruth Carney, and my Aunt Jane were the first 3 bus drivers that would even drive for Roberto back in the 70s, because Roberto was known for keeping them heavy hitters.
Is it right? Are you right? Yeah.
And my mom and my Aunt Jane and Miss Carney didn't play. You know what I mean? They snatch you up and they walk in your house, snatch you out of bed, make you go to school. They was the real deal, man. And so Roberto was a part of my life my entire life. And Joe Doolin was like that surrogate father to me. I remember when I was young, cutting up and doing stupid stuff. I'd come home and Joe be sitting on the couch and I'd be scared to death because my mama done called Joe over to straighten me out. You know what I mean? And yeah, we had a really great relationship. He was a great friend. And one of the proudest days of my life is when me and Joe was having lunch at Banfield's. And Joe said, you know, this is after I had gotten married and had my kids and whatnot. He said, I'm proud of you, man. And that, I don't want to get emotional.
It's all right. It's all right. This year to round 197.
He said that, and for so long, you ain't gonna make it. You don't act right, but he was basically trying to get me straight, and he did.
Right.
And I was the last person to speak at Joe Doolin's funeral. And there was a lot of people that didn't like what I had to say at that funeral, but again, I'm a Joe Doolin kid.
Right.
I ain't gonna start nothing, but I ain't running from nothing either.
Right.
And that's why I am in the position that I'm in. I ain't gonna start no mess,
yes, but it ain't gonna be.
I'm not gonna run from it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm proud to be a Doolin kid, man.
Yeah. Joe Doolin actually is called the Park Ridge Summerfest / Joe Doolin Day. Often that gets left out of the Park Ridge Summerfest, but that's the official name of it. The Black Festival is the Park Ridge Summerfest / Joe Doolin Day. And
glad to have experienced it with him that year before he died. And sat with him the entire day.
Yeah, that was because you was out there, and I recall. Yeah. And I also recall when we honored him, man. You was given the honor, then some sister was coming up there on the stage. You said, "What is you doing up here?" You like, "What you doing up here?" I know them from so and so. This ain't about you today. Yeah. So, Joe Doolin, what was the name of that organization he founded? Parents,
National African American Parent Involvement Day.
National African Parent Involvement Day, which is a nationally recognized organization right now.
Yeah, so second February of every year, celebrated. People still celebrate it to this day, even in his absence.
Yes, they do. Yeah. So, Brother Dave, when you come in to the trusteeship or whatever you want to call the trustee, right? When you come, I know you're gonna be there, bro, because you write this name down. If you don't see who's anyway, David Malcolm, trustee for Washington Community College. I endorsed him a long time ago. See, everybody who I just named those names, I'm gonna repeat them again. It's because I have personal relationships with them. They're not my friends. Let's get this straight up and down. Many of them ain't my friends, right? David just happened to be my friend, just happened to be one who's running for trustee. But this ain't supporting him based on a friendship. Because let's back up a little bit. I done had a whole bunch of friends running for office, and I ain't supporting them whatsoever. I'm straight up and down. I done had folks come up and say, hey, Bryan, would you endorse me? We cool as hell, but you ain't cut out for this job, for this task at hand. Now we're gonna be cool, but when it comes to representing the people, you got to be 10 tones down, palms up. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the way it rolls. So even though this is my friend, it's because of our friendship that I can say that he's qualified to be the trustee. And I'm encouraging each one of y'all, that my viewers out here, if you haven't done so already, to make sure that you're going to write David Malcolm's a name in. And if you wrote in somebody else's, you can still go up to the city hall, to your trustee, I mean, not your trustee, but your township place of voting, spoil that ballot and get in there. See, it's important right now that we have community-minded people in positions of responsibility. So many people, Dave, have come into our community and not having any attachment and no roots to the community. And it's very important that you have an attachment and roots to the community, because you know the people that you represent. Yeah. And I know we have to have people with different ideals and different thoughts as we evolve as a people, as a community. But some things, as much as they change, they have to remain the same. You get what I mean? And what happens is that so many people have came into our community who don't have those historical connections and their historical roots. And they come in and they gather some people and they have these good ideals, these fundamental, and they sound real good, but they're not good for the people who've been here all the time. You know, when I look at the south side of Ypsilanti, and then when I look took place on the old west side of Ann Arbor, yeah, that for me, what happened on the old west side of Ann Arbor to call now old west side of Ann Arbor, Water Hill, we got the same players trying to do the same thing here on the south side of Ypsilanti. You get what I mean? In the form of, it ain't even gentrification anymore. It's just outright onslaught and invasion and trying to displace people from their homes and their lands, you know, to get to displace people to take their homes and their land, right? And so that's why we need people who have attachments, roots, history. See, I never knew that history of Washington Community College until you told me right there, and why it was built, and then during that time. And that's why we need to keep that tradition of why that school was built alive, buoyant, and vibrant, so to make sure that it serves the needs of the what? That's why they call it the community college. You get what I mean?
Built to help the non-traditional, dispossessed students and people of this community.
Right.
So, you know, college is not for everybody.
Come on.
You know, you need workforce development, you need training, you need we need bring more trade education into the program. About that in a minute, yeah. You know, and I'd also like to add, you know, I was a union representative for 13 years at WCC. I bottom line four bargaining agreements with AFSCME Local 1921. I put my time in. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm from this community, and like you're saying, I remember when I first started working at Washington Community College, man, not even working, excuse me, when I really started seriously taking classes back in like 1999, I was going to photography school. And,
I forgot about, I remember that. Yeah.
I was going to school for photography there, and I was sitting around in the hallway one day, man, and I just looked around and I'm like, man, look at all of these Black people in these prominent positions here. You know, for me as a young Black student, I'm like, wow, I go upstairs, this person is in Iota Fry, Cal Williams, Miss Young. I mean, you can just keep naming them. The faculty members that were in the classroom. I looked, I was like, man, there's room for growth here. You know what I mean? I looked in the facilities department. I mean, a vice president of facilities, the manager of mechanical systems, custodial departments, all of them look like me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not saying that Washington Community College should be a Black institution.
I got you. I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying. But people need to see people look like them.
For me, as an individual coming into this system, I'm like, man, this is awesome. So I applied for a job, and I got a job there, and I saw growth opportunities for me. They slowly dwindled away. I think my mouth probably got me in trouble sometimes, kept me out of some situations because I'm a fighter.
Right.
And you know, I no longer see that. Like, people were invested in this community. The same people that I saw there working and teaching were in my neighborhood and were in your neighborhood. And you go to the grocery store, you see them.
Right.
Now you got people coming from the outside and they're doing exactly what you're saying. Like, yeah, you got all these great ideas or whatever, but it may not be best for the community.
Right. Johnny Lawrence,
man, my guy.
Right, Johnny Lawrence, who headed up a music department and wasn't degreed to do it.
That's one of my favorite guys in the world.
Right, I'm on his team. You know what I'm saying? But Johnny Lawrence from the community to head up a music
from the South
Side to end up heading up the music department. Like I said, he wasn't degreed to teach. You get what I mean? Where you going to head up a music department and you're not
you wasn't agreed to teach, but you more than qualified.
More than qualified. You see what I'm saying? That comes from that. You get what I mean?
I've met more people in my life that I never thought that I would meet because of Johnny Lawrence, Mavis Staples, so many people, man. Earl Clue. I can keep going on and on. The Four Tops, Temptations. I was at LAX. And bumped in, what's my man named Otis Williams?
And
he remembered me. I was like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
He remembered Johnny wrote a thing about Otis Williams last year.
Yeah, he called me and asked me for a picture that I had taken back.
Right. Then. Okay. So you took the picture, right? So yeah. But stuff like that. So that's why it's important, Dave, that we get out there and support and endorse you. Keisha said something. And you brought it up, but she's talking about agricultural, and I was talking about the building trades. Recently, I formed an organization called the Supreme Builders Preparatory Academy, and just about 4 weeks ago, I took some young men from Ypsilanti Community middle schools, Anthony Williamson, Alice Easy, myself. We took them up to the Convocation Center, to what was called Just Build It, or Build It, right? And introduced them young brothers to the building trades, man. And it was funny, I'm videotaping, and these were supposed to be some of the students that you really had to work with. We're gonna leave it like that. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
That's who they were supposed to be. And they had a little contest where you nail a 16 penny nail with a hammer. Man, them brothers, no, they was holding the hammer like this day.
Man.
I was chuckling. You get what I mean? But I have a incident out of none of them brothers, not one. So when we was leaving, because Alex works for the school, and I'm just the one who facilitated it, trying to get our young men involved into the skilled trades program. All I did was facilitated it. So Alex walked ahead. I went to handle some business, came back out. Alex coming back from the bus. He said, "We missing one." And I said, "What?" He said, "Man, we missing one." So in my mind, immediately, I knew who was missing. And I just met these young men. So I go back on the bus. The young cats on the bus, they said, "So-and-so, he missing. The big, they described him to the T." And that's who I thought he was. So when Alex went back to go get him, he was so intrigued with learning the building trades. These guys had never seen this before. Electrical, plumbing, engineers, millwrights, you nailed it. All of them was there. That this brother wasn't ready to go. He wanted to stay there. I watched him. He showed the most interest when they was fusing pipes together, when they was bending conduit, when they was all this stuff, man, he was into it. He was supposed to be the one that you're gonna have the most trouble out of.
Right. But
you see what I'm saying? Introducing him to something new. Then when I left, we got back to school, we on the bus. I'm writing my little Facebook post on my little journey I went with. And I get a tap on the shoulder. And one of the young fellas says, Dave, thank you, sir, for taking us on the field trip today. Thank you. Here comes the next one. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I'm sitting up here in the front. I ain't bothering nobody. But here go these young soldiers, you young warriors, these brothers tapping the OG on the shoulder, telling me, thank you for taking us out. Let's do this again. Man, I had to stand on my square and not let them tears flow. But that's what they needed, man. So I seen them at the trunk or treat last week. Some of them still out, and they still remembered me, and they still want to go back out there again. So Keisha was talking about agriculture. I'm talking about skilled trades. What's going on with the skilled trades programming up there? Because what I want to do is I want to get our young men engaged. Because one time Washington had a hell of a trades program. I understand it's not functioning or what have you. But I also met with each one of the business agents from all of the trades, each one of them, and the business agents and the organizers, and they all agreed 100% to support the Supreme Builders Preparatory Academy. Disco brought up the building out at Washington Community College. You know anything about that, or
what, the construction trades building?
Yeah.
Well, recently I just spoke to the instructor that was over that program, and I asked her, because I haven't been there, like I say, since February of last year, so I really don't know a lot that has gone on campus other than what I hear. That they closed down the physical portion of the construction program, so the actual,
hands-on,
the hands-on portion of it, which I think is crazy. Because I would see these kids. It was right across from my office. I see kids that I know needed to be there. And, you're teaching them a trade. You're teaching them something that they can carry with them anywhere they go in the world. Sometimes we look at things as far as a return on investment monetarily. And Washington Community College is a nonprofit organization. So we fund it very well. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't think you should always look at things to do with money. If we get one or two kids that we put through there and it saved their lives, or it helps them go off and get a great job, or put them into an awesome career to help them take care of their family, good. Spend the money. You know what I mean? Spend the bread.
Right.
So I really don't know what that's about. Like I say, I got a lot of things that if I am placed in this seat, that there's questions that I'm going to be asked.
Because I'm going to be at the door.
No,
You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, if that's where we need to be at.
Thank you.
The board works for the people. President works for the board.
Right.
It ain't the other way around. We ain't working for, and to be fair to the president, I know there's a lot of stuff out in the public about things that go on at Washington. But I honestly think that sometimes this lady don't know everything that's going on from her management team. I think they keep a lot of things from her. She don't really know a lot that's going on until it hits her in the face. So I'll be fair there.
I understand.
And say that. But once you know.
Right.
And if I know something, I'm gonna let you know.
Right. And
then you have the option, or I'm not gonna say option, you have the necessary need to do something about it. And I felt like that I lost my voice to influence for the common good as an employee. That's why I'm running. So maybe I can influence for the common good from the top down.
Okay.
And let it filter out that way.
See, that's why we need to have David Malcolm for trustee for Washington Community College, as well as like-minded and stuff like that, where it's not about the individual, it's about the community. It's about the people.
I don't need fame. I don't need notoriety. Right. I know enough people. I'm I'm actually losing out if I win this right here. And when I say I'm losing out, I'm losing a job. I have to resign from my job. My out date was August 1st of 2027 of retiring. That's messing with my retirement. But I'm so serious about this that I'm willing to sacrifice some things to keep working for the common good of us in this community. Those students, my colleagues, I'm willing to do that.
Right. See, that's what I'm talking about. We got a real soldier up in here right there. David Malcolm, my homeboy, my friend, my brother, and what have you. I'm going to go back to this one more time, and then we're going to wind this up. Ear to the Ground 197 is brought to you by Tracy Sweet Touch Productions. That's my sister, Tracy. We haven't been giving away any gifts and stuff like that. We're transitioning. We're going to start making our own brand, Ear to the Ground 197. She's going to design for me, and then we're going to have it mass produced. Tracy Davis Sweet Touch Productions, also brought to you by Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, located right across the street from the Ypsilanti Public Library, owned by my good friends, Andrea and Carlos Franklin, as well as Andrea and Kip Johnson. Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center. Also brought to you by League of Women Voters, my good friends, Trudy and Jeff Hughes. Ipsy Can I Share, Gail Summerhill. Now, those two organizations are nonpartisan organizations, okay? So they don't tell you who to vote for. They just share the information and you choose, okay? And I'm a member of them. So when I say these things, I am not representing League of Women Voters or Ipsy Can I Share. This is Bryan Foley's suggesting to you who you should vote for based upon the research that I have done, based upon the information I have received from Ipsy Can I Share, as well as League of Women Voters, and my own personal relationship and experiences from having attending county commission, board of commissioner meetings, city of Ypsilanti, city council meetings, and just straight out communicating with people in the community. So we highly suggest that you vote for Ariane Slay for judge, Carl Barr for judge, First Ward Representative, City of Ypsilanti, Bryan Jones Chance. Now, you're going to have to do a little bit of work. You're going to have to write in Bryan. Don't go up in there and just hitting that Democratic button all across the board. That I ain't a Democrat or a Republican. You get what I'm saying? But don't go in there this time and hitting that thing. Read through the candidates and select the one that's best for you. So that's why I'm telling you right now. Write in Bryan Jones Chance, First Ward Representative. Jimmy Wilson Jr. For state representative. Crystal Light, I believe it's First Ward District in Ann Arbor. Annie Somerville, 6th District County Commissioner. Let me back up. Crystal Light, 1st District Board of Commissioners. Annie Somerville, 6th District Board of Commissioners. Justin Hodge, 5th District Board of Commissioners. Caroline Sanders, I believe it's the 4th District, but it's out in Pittsfield Township. And Nicole Brown for mayor. Now, let me tell you why I personally endorse each one of these people. Because Nicole Brown for mayor for the city of Ypsilanti, First Ward Representative Bryan Jones Chance, along with Roland Tucson, he doesn't have opposition, right? So now we actually have a team, not a machine, a team, okay? Those are all on board. Annie Somerville, who was the 3rd Ward City Council person who hopefully will now go on to become a county commissioner, right? Along with Justin Hodge, along with Caroline Sanders, along with Crystal Light. Now you actually have a team of people working together. Now you go up there and align that up with State Representative Jimmy Wilson Jr. Draw a line straight from Jimmy Wilson Jr. all the way down through to Bryan Jones Chance and Roland Tucson. Now we have a team, Ypsilanti, for one of the first times we can actually have representation from the First Ward, City of Ypsilanti, all the way up to state representative. Well, some of y'all say, well, we had people already. Well, all I can ask you to do is show me the receipts. That's all I can say. Show me the receipts. If somebody can show me something that I ain't seen, I'll apologize and what have you. But we need representatives that are going to represent our community. I am trying to be a voice and advocate for South Side of Ypsilanti in some kind of way. I got tied into speaking for other areas. I'm cool with that. Okay, I'm cool with that. 48197, 48198. I'm good with that if y'all feel as though I have a voice to representative, but my heart is on the South Side. And I believe that what's best for the South Side is better for the entire county. What's best for the South Side of Ypsilanti is better for the entire county. So if the least amongst us can be raised up, the best among us will only get better. So that's why I encourage you to vote for those people. Dave, we can ready to get on out of here. I'm gonna let you have the final word, good brother.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me here today. I'm glad I finally made it. Would love to come back.
You're welcome back. I just got the date up in here.
Have some other conversations. But Tuesday is voting day. If I can ask you to vote for me and trust me with again, like I say, just trying to do the right thing for the common good of all of us, keeping WCC viable, making sure that we govern and create policies that are fair, equal, and balanced for the entire stakeholder population, everything. I'd appreciate it, and I look forward to serving the community if elected Tuesday morning.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I'm gonna speak it into existence. You will be.
I believe too cocky, man.
Yeah, I know that, but I believe we have a informed constituency out there. You get what I mean? You're welcome, sister. Fine Bill is treated out there again. That's a little sis. She said, Dave, you already know you got my vote. Yeah. And that's had a lot to do with what Tarita had brought to the table. Dave is a natural leader. His family, you have to check out some things for some people. And this ain't about name recognition, but go check the receipts, see what his family's done. In particular, David, Big David, right? Robert, Ronald, and Bill. I know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying? These people have been about community before this, it's become like new now. You get what I mean? Community and all this. So it's kind of like new to them now. Man, we've been about this. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Annie Somerville says she has your vote, Dave.
You, Ms. Somerville. I appreciate
you. Thanks for tuning in, Annie. So Dave, with that being said, man, Ear to the Ground 197, like I said, is brought to you by Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, Tracy Sweet Touch Production, League of Women Voters, as well as Ipsy Cannot Share. Now, you have a constitutional privilege, but you also have a constitutional right in a democracy to vote. So I'm not asking y'all to go out to vote. I'm going to tell y'all go out to vote, okay? Because we're at a time in, like I said, not in our country, but in our community, in our city, that we are at the tipping point of insanity. And that's real talk. And if the people don't get out there and vote based upon the information that is provided on the candidates and select the one that is most viable to our city, not no ideologues, not no ideologies and stuff like that, what's better for us, then you have a right to get out there and vote. Now, if you don't vote, they say you can't talk. Well, I understand all that. You can talk if you don't vote, but at least you can participate in a participatory democracy by casting the vote. So that's why I'm encouraging y'all each to go out there on Tuesday. If you've already sent in your absentee ballot, congratulations. I hope that each one of the names that I suggested is on there. If they're not, it ain't too late to go in there and spoil it and go and write those in there. But today, we highly encourage you to vote for David Malcolm for trustee, Washtenaw Community College. I know him personally, I know him professionally, I know him ethically, and I know that he's a true soldier who's staying 10 toes down, palms up. That's the way he functioned. Dave,
I appreciate you, my brother.
You know, I got you. I need you to win. I need you to get in there because I can come holler at you about this building trades program. That so we gonna need that to be spoke highly of, bro.
I'll tell you what, I would definitely use my influence to support anything like that. You know what I mean? And definitely would vote and use, you know, not power, but influence to make that happen. I want to say something right quick.
Go ahead, brother.
You mentioned the Blackstone bookstore, and we talked about connectivity.
Go ahead.
And how we all connected. Carlos Franklin is one of my oldest friends on the planet. I am 50 years old as of Father's Day. Me and Carlos went to preschool together. Solid brother.
Right, he is.
We also are both brothers of St. Andrew's Lodge, number 7.
Y'all traveling brothers. Yeah, y'all traveling.
Yeah. So we connected to Ipsy, we connected to Ann Arbor, we connected to Washington County.
Right.
I've heard you mention that store 3-4 times now.
Right.
But that's my brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to go there and get some more light.
Right.
I be reading this stuff, man. I be reading stuff. You know, I be reading stuff. Anyway, they don't know nothing about that. Something right. But anyway, bro, thank you for coming out today. And we're going back real soon, man. And with that being said, Ear to the Ground 197, we'll be back next week. I don't know if I'm going to be back Saturday or Sunday. You know what? If y'all are still tuned in, what day should I broadcast? Sunday or Saturday? You get what I mean? Y'all let me know. You get what I mean? And I'll adjust my schedule accordingly. I know that the football games, college football games, we're in the college football season, and that's why I changed the dates to Sunday so the brothers can enjoy the game and still get the information. But you know what? On Sunday, real conversation, I said this the last couple of weeks. On Sunday, when our folks is at church and holding church, you know what them other folks do? They have Meet the Press, Face the Nation, the news programs. They be telling what's going on, not only at the federal level, but on the state level. And we be in there doing what we do.
Church missing out.
Yeah, so we in church missing out. Now, I ain't knocking church. I ain't neither. But it seems awfully strange to me that the decisions are being made on those Sundays. So I'm gonna leave that right there. Okay, we go
segregated day on
the calendar. So we gonna leave that alone, good brother. Okay. As our motto is all power to the people. Peace, and we'll see you next week. I'm out of here. Most segregated day. They on there talking business and politics. You know what I mean? Making the decisions, and then we find out talking about when did they do this, man? They said it on the show the other day, man. You know?
Well, I hope we reached a couple people, man. And man, I'm you know, I don't know if they can still hear me or not.
Yeah, they can hear you. We can turn it down. You want me to turn it down?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I just, you know, the Tuesday is not going to be a total win-win for me if I win this election, man. You know what I mean? Like I say, I'm sacrificing some things because coming from here,
right?
You know what I mean? I mean that. So,
right.
It's crazy, man. You know, our community is changing right before our eyes, man.
Yeah, it is.
Like I said, I think your dad was what, like the first firefighter or something?
He was one of the first black police officers. Yeah, one of the first, but there was someone preceded up to him. But yeah.
Well, you know, when you come from a family of first, you can't be the last to speak up. You know what I mean? That's real talk. So
yeah,
my great grandparents were some of the first to inhabit Water Hill, and I own the last property that my great grandparents owned in that neighborhood.
Up on God Street.
On God Street.
So you Robert right next to Robert.
You been there?
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've been both of them. Yeah. Every time I've been on Robert's all summer putting up that the new kitchen and everything.
Yeah. He told me he was over there.
Yeah,
off doing something.
Yeah, he had me putting up that bad hood fan and then the range top and everything.
Yeah, man, it's changing around here. And,
it is.
I see it when I list homes on the south side. You know what I mean? How many people call me and interested in them and want to do it. And, you know, I don't know. I was on a 3-hour podcast yesterday with Champions of Change and this group that's trying to document our history in Ipsy and Ann Arbor, right?
Okay.
And They say it might take 2 generations for us to get back what we lost.
Yeah.
2 generations. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
You know what I mean?
And that's why we got to go and get it back. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to hold on to what I got.
And that's what I've been telling everybody, man. Y'all need to hold on what you got. You get what I'm saying? I seen houses that was selling for $20,000, $25,000, and if Ypsilanti went up to like 175 overnight, literally. You know,
right on the south side.
Inside, yeah. They thought I was kidding. Yeah.
Monroe.
Yeah. Monroe. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this setup though, man.
Thank you. Ear to the Ground 197, and we're out of here. Peace.